those who embody love by reproduction in the soul. Okay, so this is the next topic in the symposium here. So basically, someone who embodies love appears apparently irrational to the onlooker until they realize that they are motivated by love. Okay, that's interesting. So that's interesting because I guess love can maybe make you look eccentric or unusual or maybe even crazy. Like if someone saw you behaving a certain way and it didn't make sense on the face of it, but then when you told them, it's because you were motivated by love, then it all makes kind of sense. Like maybe that person's distressed over a loved one or something like that. They just found out their loved one is just got hit by a car in the hospital or something, and they're doing okay, but there's maybe they've sustained some major injuries or something. You're feeling distressed over that, and had someone would look at you and you look sad and distressed, and that behavior might seem to someone inexplicable, but then you say, oh well, my loved one has seriously injured themselves. Oh, okay, well that makes sense now. I can make sense of your emotional expressions. But so maybe that's kind of what is being hinted at here in the dialogue. Those who embody love, they come across as irrational until you realize that they're motivated by love. Okay, so getting back to this question of who embodies, this question of he who embodies love will perform certain actions, essentially. So to become, so this is what they talk about at this point of the dialogue. So the person who embodies love will want to become famous and to lay up glory, and become immortal forever, and to brave any danger for the sake of this, much more than they would for their children. Okay, interesting. And someone who embodies love will also be prepared to spend money, suffer through all sorts of ordeals, and even die for the sake of glory. Okay. So it seems like love is an ideal you pursue that you're willing to risk your life over. It seems to go down in a blaze of glory and to be immortalized forever. Through monuments that people might build, or just through the history books, your name will be a part of history, and that's you leave a memory behind for your posterity. And then they kind of go into talking about these different archetypes who embody love. So Alcestes is one. Alcestes dying for Admetus. Achilles dying for Patroclus. Achilles doesn't actually die trying to defend Patroclus, but he would die for his sake. And then Odrus dying to preserve the throne of his sons. So all these figures here, all these archetypes, they're motivated to preserve their memory through their virtuous deeds and thus attain a semblance of immortality. So I thought of some modern examples. Christ, for example, he dies for our sins and he's immortalized. We have many religious icons that bear the symbolism of Christ in paintings, and many people have even encountered his divine presence, that he is real, even if he's just an archetype. Doesn't mean he's any less real, I suppose, if he is an archetype. Shakespeare, Milton, these writers, basically have attained a semblance of immortality. Is passed on in their writings, and and it seems with like the advent of our electronic reality, with everything being now uploadable onto the computer, and onto the internet. It seems like you can kind of achieve some kind of digital immortality too, right?
Yeah, that's actually an interesting topic you bring up. Especially like the way that people use social media, or just people's desire to like make some sort of viral sensation or be a part of it. Like it all seems to be kind of intertwined with this idea of like wanting to immortalize yourself in some sense.
Yeah, it does seem to be all tied up with that. I almost can't help but think right now, this whole philosophy salon we're doing online, these Zoom recordings that we're going to publish as part of our philosophy salon. In some ways, I feel like it's kind of a way of us achieving digital immortality in some sense. Maybe we're partly motivated to be seen and heard and get our ideas across to people, but we're also motivated too by this more metaphysical motivation of wanting to preserve ourselves, indefinitely through, recording these conversations onto the medium of video and then uploading it onto the internet for all people to see. And I can look back at this in 50 years from now when I was young and be like, oh yeah, this, my physical body might be, waning, and I might be, about to venture into the undiscovered land, but my digital self will still be alive, or alive in people's memories. And I don't know if that's equivalent to physical immortality. Is my recording of me, is that me in any way, or is it just a bunch of
pixels, bro?
Yeah, a bunch of pixels on a screen, and it's a replica. It's a counterfeit. It's not really me. It's a representation of me, albeit a pretty realistic one. In any case, I think that's a fruitful digression. That's something worth talking about in and of itself.
Yeah.
Our legacy through the electronic media.
There's a show that's out. I think it's on Amazon Prime, and it's called Upload. Mm-hmm. And the whole premise is basically this: that before you die, you can upload your self to basically like an afterlife, like a digital afterlife where you like live forever kind of thing. And it's like another version of real life, with all, a bunch of just weird nonsense, and you get like advertisements, and anyways, it's just getting at this idea of trying to live on forever and like uploading ourselves to the cloud. Right. Like I could see that being a dystopian state of the future at some point.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, people talk a lot about that, in recent years. I don't know if it's entirely science fiction. I mean, it seems like the analogy in some sense makes sense. I mean, it seems like, in some way, if this body I'm inhabiting is just the hardware, my consciousness is the software, then who's to say that software couldn't get installed into another hardware system somehow?
Well, Graham, we know you don't believe that.
well, I think the computational metaphor is just the latest in our ways of conceptualizing, this thing which we might call mind, and this thing which we call body, and their relationship to each other, and whether mind in some sense transcends body. Is maybe more fundamental than body.